Welcome back. 602 Row Show. Tuesday edition. Special Tuesday episode of The Bachelor. It's coming out really, really late, so thank you if you are here. I had to try to get these lineups right. We're going to talk through a whole bunch of different possibilities and scenarios, and hopefully, we can hit some winners today for you. Crazy Monday night episode. Didn't do a recap because we've just been trying to wrap our head around everything that had happened. But Sydney is now gone. So with Sydney gone, maybe things will get a little easier. They did end us on a Rose League cliffhanger. That's going to factor in. There is the potential for two Rose ceremonies, Rose League, Rose Show, two Rose ceremonies in this episode. It is just as likely that the producers will shift to a cliffhanger setup for the rest of this season and open episodes with rose ceremonies. That's something we've seen before, something we see a lot of. It happens. Pricing. Maria and Lexi at the top. Lexi with a huge performance yesterday. Skyrockets up. Jen, Jess, Daisy, Kelsey A, Rachel, kind of in that next batch. Edwina, Leah, Kelsey T, Caitlin, and then kind of the rest down at the bottom. We are going to make the assumption that there are two rose ceremonies in this episode. If you are not of that opinion, you can take a slightly different approach, and we'll cover that as well. But my picks and my strategy are based off of two rose ceremonies. Part of that is selfishness because I hate the beginning of the episode rose ceremony. It's just not something I want a part of. Obviously, I don't get to choose. From a season standpoint, it makes more sense to me. They're really pitching this as a revitalization, and having the rose ceremonies not end the episode is kind of counterintuitive to a revitalized Bachelor, where the rose ceremonies are like a cadence. So we'll see. I'm curious to see what they're doing here with this double episode. I'm curious what they're going to do at the end of the season. I think we're in line for like back-to-back weeks of 2.5 hours of live studio nonsense. However, give me Maria. Lock in Maria. She is to the point now where you have to have her. She has to be in your lineup all the time. She's expensive, but she scores points, and you've got to have her. This week, she will also get spoilers. She'll also get the group date rose. And the reason that is more important than normal is because if there is not a second rose ceremony, you want the group date rose and you want the one-on-ones, because those are the only girls guaranteed to get two roses. So that's kind of that counterplay. You have to have the episode roses in your lineup if you don't think there's a second rose ceremony. I'm going to have them anyway because they're usually good for points. Kelsey A and Rachel are your one-on-ones. Slot them in. Kind of expensive, 26, 21, 20, so it doesn't leave you a lot of room to play with. So, here's where we get to Leah. I really, really want Leah in my lineup. I can't get her in for the price, and I will tell you why in just a second. But if you want Leah, grab her and try to make the rest work, especially if it's week 5 now. If you're chasing in your league by a good amount of points, the upside that Leah could have might get you there, but you really need to understand what you're signing up for, because the fake villain edit that they gave us immediately after the real villain left, sometimes that's just like a flash in the pan. She's upset right now, she's gonna freak out, it's gonna be 3 minutes of the episode, rose ceremony, and then no screen time for Leah. That's a huge possibility. Could also go completely off the rails, and she could score 30 points in the first 10 minutes of the episode. So think about how you want to play that. I'm leaving her out of my lineup, and the reason for that is I'm taking Kelsey T at 17. 11th overall in scoring, but 15 points a week over the last 3 weeks. Has her positioned really well. I think over the last 3 weeks she'd be top 8. And I know she's not going home. What that does is completely run me out of cash. So my last pick is almost a throwaway. Caitlin is 16. Caitlin is the only person left I can afford after spending on all the other girls that doesn't go home in the next 2 rose ceremonies. So Caitlin kind of uninspired, not scoring a ton of points, but does not go home in the next 2 rose ceremonies. So at least I won't have negative points for her going home. All the other girls at that price point, everyone below Caitlin is gone. So for me, lock in rose ceremonies. If Caitlin doesn't score a whole bunch of points, my wager is that Kelsey T and Caitlin score more points together than Leah and someone that goes home. So that's really the pivot this week, is how many points does Leah score. That's really what you need to lean into there. But that's my lineup: Maria, Kelsey A, Rachel, Kelsey T, Caitlin. Thanks for joining us. We can talk some more of this strategy. We're getting the Discord channel going. It's on the socials for all the Rose League channels in the link tree. You can find us there. You can find me at King of Lakemore pretty much every social media platform that exists. And I love to talk Fantasy Bachelor. Thanks for dialing in, and be kind to each other. And we will see you after the Tuesday episode. And fingers crossed that there are 2 rose ceremonies today. Thanks, guys.